Imagine receiving a letter written 2,000 years ago by a man who lived in another empire, another language, another reality. But when you open it, the words seem to have been written for you, for today, for your anxiety. This man was Seneca, Roman philosopher, advisor to emperors, one of the most intelligent human beings who ever existed, and he suffered from asthma, from exile, from loss, from fear. He knew anxiety not as theory, as experience. He wrote at night after exhausting days in the Senate, with a racing heart, with a restless mind, with the weight of the world on his shoulders. And yet he found peace, not a fragile peace, a peace that survived tyrants, wars, fires, 2 millennia of human chaos. Today, you have more comfort than Seneca ever dreamed, more security, more medicine, more information, but you have more anxiety, much more. Why? Because anxiety does not come from outside. It comes from inside. It comes from how we interpret the world, and in that, nothing has changed in 2,000 years. Seneca wrote letters, hundreds of them, to a friend named Lucilius. In these letters, he poured out wisdom about death, about fear, about time, about control. And at the center of it all, one question: how to live tranquil in a world that is not under your control. That question is yours, and Seneca's answer is too. Think about where you are right now, reading this, listening. This man died 2,000 years ago, but his words reached you through time, through death, through countless hands. That is the power of truth. It does not expire. It does not age. It speaks to you now. You do not need to be a scholar to understand this. You do not need to read all his works. You need to understand the core, the essence, and then apply it. Wisdom is not for displaying. It is for living. Seneca started with a simple truth. There are things you control, and there are things you do not control. Seems obvious, but you live as if you do not know. You try to control the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, the past, the future, and you torture yourself when you cannot. What do you control? Your choices, your actions, your values, your response to what happens. Only that, nothing more. What do you not control? Everything else. The traffic, the boss, the algorithm, other people's health, the result of your efforts. Seneca wrote, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinion about them." The traffic does not make you anxious. Your interpretation of the traffic does. The criticism does not hurt you. Your belief that you should be approved is what hurts. Anxiety is born when you tie your peace to external things. When you say, "I will only be well if this happens, if I get that job, if that person loves me, if everything goes right." That is handing over the keys of your mind to chance. It is building a house on sand and expecting not to fall. Seneca would say, recover what is yours, your mind, your will, your character. The rest, let it go. It is not yours to carry. This is not passivity. It is strategy. It is using your energy where it has power. It is stopping fighting against the wind and learning to sail with it. Practice this daily. When something bothers you, ask, "Is this under my control?" If no, release it. If yes, act on it. This simple question can save you years of unnecessary suffering. The dichotomy of control is not a theory. It is a tool. Use it when you wake up. Use it when you face conflict. Use it when you feel anxiety. It is your anchor in the storm. Seneca identified the heart of anxiety. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think, how many things you feared never happened? How many nights did you lose sleeping badly over problems that did not exist? How many tears did you cry for scenarios that were only fiction? The anxious mind is a monster-making machine. It takes a distant possibility and transforms it into imminent certainty. An unanswered email becomes firing. A chest pain becomes heart attack. A silence becomes abandonment. Seneca called this anticipated suffering. It is paying interest on a debt you may never have. He wrote, "The man who suffers before he needs to suffers more than he needs to." You are suffering now for something that may never happen, and if it happens, you will deal with it when it arrives. But suffering before is suffering twice. The future does not exist. It is a projection, a story your mind tells. It may be true, it may be false. You do not know. So why treat it as fact? Seneca would say, deal with now. Now is real. Now is under your control. The future, leave it to the gods, or to chance, or to life. It is not yours. Practice this. When anxiety comes, ask, is this happening now, or is it in my head? If it is now, act. If it is head, let it go. Your mind is trying to protect you, but it is overprotecting. Like a parent who never lets the child leave the house. Thank your mind for trying to keep you safe, and then tell it, I got this. I can handle uncertainty. The future will come whether you worry or not. So why suffer waiting? Save your energy for when it arrives. You will need it then, not now. Seneca had an antidote for anxiety: the present. Anxiety lives in the future. Depression lives in the past. Peace lives in the now. And the now is the only place where you have power. He wrote, concentrate on today. What can you do today? What can you control today? What can you be today? Not the year, not the month. Today, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 moment at a time. This is not cliché. It is neuroscience before neuroscience. When you focus on the present, the amygdala calms down, cortisol decreases, the mind clears. Seneca did not have MRI. He had observation, and he observed that presence heals. How to practice. Breathe. Feel the air. Feel the ground under your feet. Feel your hands. Where are you now? Who are you now? What can you do now? The past does not respond. The future does not exist. The now responds. The now exists. The now waits. Seneca would say, do not carry tomorrow on the back of today. Today already has enough weight. Tomorrow will have its own strengths, and you will be there to deal with them. The present is not glamorous. It is ordinary, but it is real. And in that ordinariness, there is peace. You do not need extraordinary moments. You need ordinary presence. Every breath is an anchor. Every step is a return. Every moment is a chance to come back home, to yourself, to the now, to peace. Here is Seneca's most powerful teaching, and the most misunderstood. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. This is not morbid. It is liberating. Death is not the enemy of life. It is what gives value to it. Seneca wrote, life is long if you know how to use it. But most people discover they are reaching the end when they have no more time. You treat time as if it were infinite. You postpone, you wait, you hesitate, as if you had guarantees. You do not. No one does. Anxiety often comes from forgetting that time is short. You worry about things that will not matter in 5 years, with opinions from people who will not be here, with problems that death will make irrelevant. Memento mori is not to scare you. It is to wake you up, to remind you of what really matters. Seneca practiced this daily. He reviewed each day before sleeping. What did I do well? What did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? Not as punishment, as calibration, as adjusting the compass, as ensuring he was not wasting the present. When you remember you will die, the fear of judgment diminishes. The need for approval disappears. Courage grows. Because what do you have to lose? Time is already running out. Use it well. Death is not a threat. It is a teacher. It teaches you to prioritize, to love deeply, to live fully, to not waste time on what does not matter. Seneca would say, "Let death stand beside you, not behind you, not in front of you, beside you, as a companion, as a reminder, as a friend who tells you, this moment matters." Seneca had an exercise. Look at the stars, not poetically, philosophically. When you feel small before the universe, your problems also become small. He wrote, "Contemplate the stars. Think about the vastness of the cosmos, and then ask, do your worries matter on this scale? Not to diminish your pain, to give perspective. Your anxiety is real, but it is part of something greater. You are a cell in a gigantic body, a moment in an eternity. That does not make you insignificant. It makes you connected, part of something that transcends your ego. Anxiety is egocentric. Everything seems to revolve around your problems. The cosmos reminds you that the universe does not revolve around you, and that is liberating." Seneca would say, "When you feel overwhelmed, look up. Remember where you are, on a planet, in a solar system, in a galaxy, in an infinite universe. Your problems are real, but they are not the center of everything. And knowing that brings calm." This is not escaping reality. It is seeing the complete reality, not just your room, not just your city, the whole. And in the whole, there is space to breathe. The stars have seen empires rise and fall. They have seen countless lives begin and end. They will be here after you. There is comfort in that. You are part of something eternal. When anxiety closes in, expand your view. Go outside. Look up. Breathe the same air that dinosaurs breathe. Stand on the same earth that has held countless feet. You are not alone. You are connected. Seneca was not just theory. He was practice. He had rituals, exercises, tools, and you can use the same ones. First, the evening review. Before sleeping, review your day. What did you do well? What could you improve? Without judgment, just observation. Second, the premeditation of evils. Imagine the worst scenario, and then realize you would survive. Anxiety exaggerates. Imagination corrects. Third, the morning silence. Before the world enters, stay in silence. Breathe. Center yourself. Choose how you want to live the day. Fourth, the philosophical reading. Read wisdom daily, not news, not social media. Wisdom. Feed your mind with what strengthens. Fifth, the conscious pause. During the day, stop, breathe, ask, am I reacting or responding? Am I in control or being controlled? Seneca would say, philosophy is not for discussing, it is for living. If you read and do not apply, you have not learned. You have only accumulated information. Transform knowledge into habit. Transform habit into character. Transform character into destiny. Start small. One practice, 1 week, then add another. Tranquility does not come at once. It comes from repetition, from consistency, from commitment. Do not expect perfection. Expect progress. Some days you will forget. Some days you will fail. That is okay. Return, restart, continue. The path is not straight, but it leads home. Seneca practiced these for decades, not until he was perfect, until he was peaceful. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be practicing. We arrive here. Seneca wrote for you. He did not know your name. He did not know your time, but he wrote for you. Because the human condition does not change. Anxiety existed in Rome. It exists in Chicago. It will exist anywhere where humans breathe and fear. He did not promise magical cure. He promised a path of clarity, of control, of peace, a path he himself walked until the end. When he was condemned to death by Nero, Seneca did not panic. He opened his veins, calm, dignified, at peace, because he had practiced death his whole life. What would he say to you now? He would breathe deep, look into your eyes, and say, "You have more control than you think. You have more strength than you feel. You have more time than you waste." Anxiety does not define you. It is a visitor. Let it pass. Do not invite it to live. Seneca ended his letters with "Veil," which means be strong, be well, be. That is the invitation. Be strong in adversity. Be well with yourself. Be simply. The letter is open. The wisdom is here. The path is traced. Now walk, breathe, feel, and live with tranquility, with purpose, with peace. The anxiety will come. Let it come and let it go. You are bigger than it. You always were. Veil.
If this video resonated with you, leave a like. If you know someone who needs to hear it, please share. This helps us a lot, and it could help someone you love. Thanks.